Hey guys, welcome back. Hope all of you are doing good. This is your host Devang Sharma. आज की वीडियो में बात करने वाले हैं very important topic and a very commonly asked interview question about Java. So without a further ado, let's start the video.
Hey guys, let me introduce to a wonderful initiative taken by Newton School. This initiative is called Launchpad. This is for the people who want to start coding from scratch and learn the basics of different programming languages for absolutely free of cost. Yes, I repeat, absolutely free of cost. It has plenty of resources available here, including courses from Java, Python, Node.js, CPP, React.js, and DBMS and SQL management. Also, few of these courses are available in Hindi as well. So what are you waiting for? Applications are open now. Apply today to become a rockstar developer within 6 months.
So welcome back to Newton School Launchpad and our complete professional Java series. This is a complete Java series from a freshman to a professional developer. Irrespective of whether you're a freshman or a junior developer or a senior developer, you will find something related to you that will help you excel in your career. So without a further ado, let's start today's video. Let's start today's class. In today's class, we have a very important topic, method overriding in Java. Before understanding in this video, we are going to cover what is method overriding, what are its use cases, how it is implemented to perform runtime polymorphism in Java, its examples with live coding, and some of the examples like why method overriding is required and what will happen if method overriding is not given. So starting with the first definition, what is method overriding? If subclass or a child class has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as method overriding in Java. Let's try to understand. In the previous video, we discussed about inheritance. So there we have a parent class and we have a child class. Child class inherits some properties or attributes of a parent class. So if that child class also called the subclass, it has the same method, I'm repeating, same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as method overriding in Java. In other words, if a subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been declared by one of its parent class, it is known as method overriding. Usage of Java method overriding. The usage are, number one, method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation. I am focusing again on the word specific implementation of a method which is already provided by its superclass or parent class. Second, method overriding is used for runtime polymorphism. Now, what is runtime polymorphism? How it is happened? We are going to see in the subsequent video. Let's understand few things here. Number one, what are the rules for creating Java method as overriding? First rule is that method must have the same name as in the parent class. Now, it's not like similar name, I'm repeating, it must have the same name as in the parent class. Second, the method must have same parameter as in parent class. Very important. And that is the difference between method overloading and method overriding. In case of method overloading, you can have a different parameters or different signature. But in case of method overriding, it has to be essentially the exact same parameter in the subclass as in the parent class. Third, there must be a is-a relationship. And we know that inheritance follower is a relationship. The child class must be inherited from the parent class. Let's understand these rules again. Number one, method must have same name as in the parent class. Number two, method must have same parameter as in parent class. And number three, there must be a is-a relationship defined in the methods. Let's try to understand the problem without method overriding. Right? First thing, why do we need method overriding? What will happen in case I don't provide method overriding? So let's understand with the example of live coding and the program, what is the problem that we'll face if we don't use method overriding. Let's go to Newton School ID and check out the live code. So as you can see, here's my Newton School ID, which provides me multiple programming languages along with various features like output, compiler output, message and error messages. And it has a feature of custom input and custom output as well. So I'm going to show you what is the problem that you'll encounter in case I don't give you a method overriding. So let me declare a class vehicle and another class, let's say name it bike, which will extend vehicle. So in this case, vehicle will be my parent class and bike will be my child class. So in the case of class vehicle, let me create a function run. And let me print something like vehicle is running on some statement, right? Now I'm going to create the same run function if I do it. inside my vehicle class. So if you observe inside my vehicle class, I'm going to create an object and I'm going to utilize that object using the same function. So I will create an object of type bike. I'm going to call obj.run. Let's try to understand what should be our output. Our output should be, if I'm calling the object from the child class, so my output should be vehicle is running. Let's see the output. Constructor call. Okay, I see my output as vehicle is running. What is the problem here? The problem here is that my class bike is extending the class vehicle. What if I want to give it a specific implementation? This implementation of void run that is given by the parent class. What I want is there can be multiple classes that are inheriting my parent class. What if I want to give specific implementation to all of them? And that is where method overriding is required. As you have seen in the live coding example, the problem that I encounter is that I have to provide a specific implementation of run method in subclass. And that is why we use method override. Now let's see a program which uses the method overriding, how it will see differently. So in this example, we will define the method in the subclass as well as it is defined in the parent class, but with some specific implementations. The name and parameter of the method will be same, and there will be a is relationship between the classes. That's why it will be a method override. Let's see the code for the same. So this was an example without using a method override. Let's modify the same code to implement it using method override. I define the function void run inside my bike class. And I set something like bike is run to differentiate between the two run functions. Now, in that case, if I create object.run and I call it, let's see what will be the output. What the output I get? Output I get is bike is running. So observe carefully, line number 5, line number 13, both are the function run. They have the same parameter list, which does not have any parameter. They have the same return time. It's just that implementation is different. What I'm doing inside the run function at line number 5 and what I'm doing inside the run function at line number 13 are entirely different. They are not related to each other in any way. Only the classes bike and classes vehicle are related to each other using the is a relationship because it's inheritance, right? Class bike is the child class vehicle is the parent class. That's the only difference. So this is the advantage that we get using method overriding. I can provide specific implementation in method override. Although this was not possible if there was no method override. What can be the specific implementation, by the way? Specific implementation can be something that bike has specifically that vehicle does not have. For example, vehicle can be a 4-wheeler, can be a 2-wheeler. So something like clutch gear or something that is specific to bike or any of the feature that is specific to bike only, I can be defined inside this run function. And that is why these specific features are given over. Okay, so we've seen the example of method overriding as well. Now let's understand a real example of method overriding. This was just an example to explain what if method overriding is not used and what if method overriding is used. Now let's understand a real life example which will help us better demonstrate the use case and the value what method overriding is built. To give an example, let me just explain you the use case first. So consider a scenario where a bank is a class that provides functionality to get the rate of interest. That rate of interest can be upon FD, that rate of interest can be upon loan or any other policies. However, the rate of interest varies according to banks. That makes sense as well. For example, SBI, ICICI and Axis Bank, they provide respectively 8%, 7% and 9% rate of interest. If you see in the example, the diagram that I've shown here, we have a class bank, which is our parent class. It has a function called get rate of interest, which is a float type. 3 classes are extending it. What are the 3 banks? Number 1, SBI, number 2, ICICI, number 3, Axis. Now they have their specific get rate of interest. Observe carefully. The name of the function is same, get rate of interest, and the return type is also the float. And interestingly, their parameter will also be the same to make it method override. The only difference is that all of them have their specific implementation. So in case of get rate of interest of SBI, it's going to be 8%. In case of ICICI, it's going to be 7%. In case of Axis, it's going to be 9%. But The same method is defined in the parent class with the name getRateOfInterest. Let's see how we can implement it via coding. Let's go back to Newton School ID and code it. So first of all, let's declare a class bank, and then I will have three child classes: SBI, it will be extending bank, then we have ICICI, and then we have Axis. So my bank class, if you observe carefully, I have a rate of interest function. Get rate of interest. This is an integer type. It will give me some return value. So in this function, what I am defining here is return 0. This is just in my parent class, get rate of interest. Similar definition will be provided in case of SBI, ICICI, and Axis. So in case of SBI, I have my rate of interest as, let's say, 8%. Instead of 0, I will return 8. Similarly, in ICICI, I have my rate of interest as, let's say 0. ICICI rate of interest is 7%. And in case of Axis, I have my rate of interest as 9%. So I will return 9 from it. So what I have done, in my base class, in my base parent class bank, I have a get rate of interest function. The same function with the same return type and the same number of parameters and arguments, you can see, I have created 3 different child classes which are inheriting my parent class bank. All of these have different values, so they have specific implementation of that. Specific implementation means every bank has a specific rate of interest and they are able to implement it using method override. That is the real life use case of method override. Let's run this program and let's try to see the output. So what I will do is, I'll create object of these 3 classes. Let's say SBI S equal to new SBI, ICICI I equal to new ICI, and then we have the last class as Axis. Let's print out the values for all of them. Get rate of interest that we are going to do using interest for SBI. This is interest for SBI. And we're going to get via get rate of interest method. To access the method, we have to access by object. So s dot get rate of interest. Similarly, we can get it for ICICI as well as for Axis. This will become I, this will become A, and this will become Axis. Let's see the output, if you are able to get the output. Let's see the output if we are able to get the output. Let's see the output if we are able to get the output. As you can see, the output is interest for SBI is 8, interest for ICICI is 7, interest for Axis is 9. Same class, same parent class, different child classes, and all different child classes have their different implementation. Same parent class bank, 3 different child classes, SBI, ICICI, and Axis. Same function get rate of interest, is just that their implementation is different. So this ability to provide specific implementation to the child classes, this feature is called method overriding. Hope you have understood the example of method overriding as well as the use cases. Now let's understand some very important questions. First, can we override static method? The answer is no. Static method cannot be overridden, and that will be example as a runtime calling method, which we are going to cover in next videos. If you guys have doubt about static keywords or static methods, static classes, Please check out the video for static keyword in Java, which I have uploaded recently, to be able to understand what are static methods, static blocks, static classes, and so on and so forth. Next, why can we not override static methods? It's a good question. As we explained in the previous video, if you have not watched it, the link is in the description. Do watch it now. Static method is bound with the class, not with the object. Instance method is bound with an object. Since static belongs to the class area and instance belongs to the heap area, that's why static method cannot be overridden. Last question, can we override Java main method? So after the Java 5, all the main methods are static in nature. So that is why you cannot override the Java main method. In this video, just to revise, what we have covered is we have understood about what is method overriding, what are the usage of method overriding, and rules for creating Java method overriding. Then we talk about what will be the problem if method overriding is not provided, and then we see an example of method overriding. Last, I have given you a real life use case to understand method overriding in real life. Hope you guys have understood about method overriding, its use cases, how it is implemented in Java, and some important functions related to it. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe it, and do watch all the videos in the series in progression to have a better understanding from freshman to professional developer. Feel free to share it with your friends and comment down what is the best part that you like and what else you want me to improve. Till then, see you in the next video. Thank you.